Hello there and welcome back to EVE Online. Sorry about the break, it's been unavoidable. I'll talk more about that in a moment, but for now we're in a Cormorant. We are fitting to go out salvaging in the Wormhole Inn. It's got small salvage tackle Tech 1s fitted. They're about 1 million each. They increase your chance of getting the salvage on a cycle by 10%. So I've got 3 of those on there. So that is this Cormorant's job. You can't unfit rigs without destroying them. We've got 5 Tech 1 salvagers and 1 small tractor beam fitted. If you're using a mobile tractor unit, maybe you could put on an extra salvager, although cap may be a little bit of an issue. But I like to keep 1 tractor beam on there just for the one that the MTU hasn't got to yet, or for the random things I find when I'm out and about. In the mid slots, we've got the medium shield extender, we've got the 5 mega Newton afterburner and a small compact cap battery just to give us a little bit more energy to run the salvages with. In the low slots we've got a damage control and an inertia stabilizer to get out. If I wasn't alpha, I'd have one of those, a prototype cloak on there maybe instead of the tractor beam, and then I could just cloak up if anything dangerous was going on and I had a big expensive load on me. There's some of the stuff that I've picked up in the Drake from the site that we're about to go and salvage. So we'll look at that in another video which is about to be made. And as you can see in my hangar, I've got a small selection of ships here in the Wormhole with me, and you'll be probably seeing videos starring all of them. If you'll just bear with me for one moment, I've noticed I've got a bit of spare CPU and power grid on this fit, so I'm going to see if I can make an adjustment. I haven't got really a huge amount of modules in here with me, so I am really juggling stuff around and still trying to figure out the fits. Some of the fits I'm using are a little bit ad hoc, shall we say. We need that in there, but what we can do, we can get rid of the compact micro warp drive because we don't need that. It's quite an expensive module, but that can go into another fit that needs to save on its CPU, etc. And we can put the restrained micro warp drive on. Not only, well, that's basically reduces the signature radius flare from you running the micro warp drive. It's all about running away. And it also reduces the cap penalty, so in effect we've got a little bit more cap to run the salvagers, etc. with. So off we go. We shall plot a course. We bookmarked a wreck. Never forget to bookmark a wreck. I quite often do, or sometimes do, but it can be very annoying when you know all that loot's there and you can't find it anymore. But anyway, we've had some problems. The PC's been ill, I've been ill with a bit of flu. We fixed the hard drive situation, which is now kind of re-released some of the footage that I'm making these videos out of right now. However, then the graphics card and the power supply had some kind of argument, blew each other up. I can't run EVE in a very high resolution at all, and it's never stable. If there's 3 or 4 ships like me trying to clear a site, it will just crash. It says that Windows will not allow permission for eve.exe to talk to the graphics card anymore. So I don't know what that's all about. So here we are. We are now salvaging away. There's no great rush. They're a little bit scattered because I didn't have an MTU in the Drake when I went out. As I say, I haven't got everything that I need in this Wormhole with me. So there's a little bit of running around to do, which is where the micro warp drive and the tractor beam does come in handy. So yeah, cover your mistakes with this fit on your Cormorant. And my basic technique here, really, as you can see, is I've got the tractor beam on one that started off about 18 kilometers away. That is now coming towards me. I'm heading towards the next closest wreck. Doing it slowly. You can burn over a little bit with the micro warp drive. The tractor beam won't quite keep up, but it will keep pulling this thing in your direction. So now the tractor beamed wreck is within range of the salvagers. We're going to set an orbit on the one that we're heading towards. We'll get the 2 salvagers going on the one that the tractor beams brought within range, and now we're in range of the one that we're orbiting, and we'll just fire the other 3 at there. With the 1 small cap battery, as you can see, I'm not under any great cap pressure. Ideally you're not going to be using the micro warp drive too much, and you're certainly not in a situation where you're really going to have any problems. So I reckon it's kind of a balanced one. You could easily just, as I say, switch the tractor beam for another salvager, or if you're in a more hazardous place or you want to keep things really careful, put on some kind of cloaking device and just disappear until the danger passes. And obviously it's the high number of high slots that makes destroyers very good for this kind of work, and there is absolutely no racial bias. I am pleased to say any destroyer really will do this job fine. If you want to get in and get out, the frigate is going to do that quicker. Destroyer's a little bit tougher. I'm basically in a wormhole. I've never had the opportunity to live in a wormhole before. It definitely has huge benefits, and I'm just trying anything. I don't even know how much this salvage is going to be worth at this point. Now, if you have dropped an MTU when you're running your site or your mission, then obviously it's going to speed this part of the process up. They cost about 6.5 to 7 mil. They only take up 100 cubic meters of cargo hold, so any sort of cruiser, even the Cormorant, could in theory take one. You just deploy it. They're also handy on sites because it gives you something to orbit around. They basically bring all of the wrecks into a clump around it. They take the loot out and put it inside. You can just grab it all in one go, and then your salvage ship can go sit there salvaging. Then obviously you're not really going to need a tractor beam. It's definitely an option, and I'd recommend it really. As I said, I just didn't have one handy. And this fit's pretty standard. As I say, it will apply to any destroyer. Just sort of wiggle around with it, whatever you've got spare and handy, and give it a go. It's quite a good way of tidying up. Whether you're doing it really for the financial gain, whether you're doing it to get the components and the bits and bobs you need for your industry, or you're just doing it really because you've got a bit of a completionist attitude, it's entirely up to you. Some people just prefer to get onto the next site and start killing and looting on there. But that's the wonderful thing about Eve, it's all down to you really. We certainly use exactly this kind of fit, or derivatives of it, in low sec for getting up on the big sites and looting lows out, because they can get out, they can take a hit if they get a little bit caught out maybe, and get the job done. Now there have been lots of changes in the game while I haven't been playing, and I like the look of nearly all of them. I'm going to do a bit of a, not a special episode, I don't know. I'm very close to 400 subs, which I'm really amazed at and I'm really chuffed with. I'd like more comments and more feedback, and some suggestions as to go forward with the alpha character especially would actually be quite helpful, because I've pretty much maxed him out skill-wise. He's nearly at 5 million skill points. Because I've kind of diversified him for the sake of the videos, he's not quite got where I wanted him to be in certain ways. Tech 2 heavy missiles would have been very handy. If I ever buy anything with a skill injector, then that might be the one. But anyway, yeah, anything you like to see. I have got a lot more footage to show of the alpha in action, clearing sites in caracals and drakes, in the wormhole, in low sec, out in high sec escalations, all that kind of stuff. Exploration, there's a lot more of that coming up. I found the craziest couple of hacks in the world. The simplest hack and probably the hardest hack within 3 boxes on one site. They'll be up soon. And some really good loot drops in here in the wormhole too. It's very quiet, so if I log on every couple of days, there's probably about 15 signatures to scan, and they've been turning in about 100 mil every time I go through them, so which is really, really good. But back to the changes in the game. The Sino changes I'm really going to enjoy, I think, because we're not going to get dropped. And the stuff they've done in nullsec, I think, has made it very interesting. The lack of a local chat makes it easier as a single player to get in there and maybe mess around, get some loot and get out, because the locals will have to see you and find you. But as I was saying, we're almost on 400 subs. I'm going to put a kind of a clips video together. I've got lots of bits of footage that are basically stuff I've seen when I'm out and about, and I'm going to put those together, have a little chat more about the game, how I've played it for the last 10 years in very different ways, I can assure you, and where I think the changes in the game are taking it. Look at that, you get a salvage beam in your face. We have the last wreck almost done now. How are we getting on? It's not a huge amount of money, to be fair, but it's certainly better than nothing. We'll have a proper look at the loot when we got this one in. Look, we've got everything on him now. The cap is holding out. I thought with one cap battery we might be lacking, but no, that seems to be working out fine so far. Right, so there's the final haul. 1.2 million. 400,000 of that is the loot, the neural networks I got out of the sleeper wreck I'd left up there. So 800k in salvage in about 8 minutes or less maybe. Now I'm going to keep an eye on what I get because it might be useful for my oldest alt who you may be seeing at some stage. I'm going to start using some more skilled up Omega alts, showing you some of those big bad ships. So that's it, a short sweet video to let you know we're back. And if you like this little kind of format of a quick video of a ship, a fit and what it does, then let me know. I can make some more and do some of the slightly longer, more tutorialized and extensive videos also. So leave us a like if you've liked it. Any comments, suggestions, feedback, requests are always welcome, and subscribe if you'd like to stay in touch, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get an alert when we post a new video. Have a look at the State of Decay stuff, it's quite fun. I enjoy playing it, you might enjoy just watching it, who knows. But for now, we'll be back very soon. Take care and goodbye.